In news from the USVI criminal courts, we learned that one man has been slapped with multiple charges after assaulting a woman and her family, and a woman is charged with obstructing justice in connection with a domestic violence incident. 23-year-old Nazari Hazel appeared before a judge of the VI Superior Court in St. Croix on Monday to answer to charges incurred after police say he admitted to entering the home of his child's mother and assaulting her and her entire family. The woman told police that around 11 p.m. on August 27th, Hazel texted her asking to see his daughter, a request she said she declined because of the late hour and her ill health at the time. She was in the bedroom with the baby when someone who lived in the apartment with her informed her that Hazel was outside. She said she heard that person telling her child's father that he did not belong there and needed to leave. Hazel reportedly responded that he would not leave until he had seen his daughter. He then reportedly forced his way inside, repeating his demands to see the baby. The woman said she locked the baby girl in the bedroom before attempting to speak to Hazel herself. A verbal altercation ensued between the parents, during which Hazel reportedly armed himself with a knife he had taken from the kitchen. The woman called police, but while speaking to dispatchers, she said Hazel slapped the phone from her hand before he attacked her and several other family members with the knife. She said his attack left her with visible injuries on her right hand. Although she had called 911 on the night in question and also reported the incident to the Wilbur H. Francis Command Police Station on September 6th, Hazel was not arrested until last Friday when he turned up at the police station to confess to entering the woman's home without her permission and assaulting her with the knife. He was then charged with burglary in the first degree, forcible and unlawful entry, and disturbance of the peace, all as acts of domestic violence. Additional charges include possession of a dangerous weapon and assault in the third degree. In court on Monday, a judge ruled that Hazel be allowed to sign an unsecured bond for the full $15,000 bail requirement. Once signed, he would be released to a third-party custodian, but Hazel will be barred from leaving St. Croix without the court's written permission. He must also surrender his passport, if he has one, and report to the probation office every Tuesday. Hazel will be placed on 24-hour house arrest with an electronic monitor, but will be allowed to leave the home to go to the hospital for emergencies or to court appearances. Hazel is to maintain a minimum distance of at least 1,000 feet away from his child's mother and must have no contact, directly or indirectly, with her or any witnesses in the matter. On St. Thomas, 43-year-old Yvonette Saint-Hilaire appeared in court on Monday to answer to domestic violence charges following a report of an assault on November 13th. Saint-Hilaire's husband told police that he returned home from church this past Sunday and asked his wife to make some food as he was hungry. When she declined, citing tiredness, he says he went into the kitchen to make his own meal. While he was preparing the food, the man said that his mechanic called, asking him to come down to the shop to see something concerning his vehicle. He told the mechanic that he was in the middle of cooking, and when he hung up the phone, Saint-Hilaire reportedly confronted him, asking her husband why he told the mechanic what he was doing. She reportedly asked if the mechanic was not aware that he had a wife cooking for him. Her husband pointed out that she was not, in fact, cooking for him, reportedly telling her, quote, "Because he knows you don't, they all know," which reportedly angered Saint-Hilaire, who began shouting and hitting her husband on the chest. The man told police that at that point he left the kitchen to sit on the living room couch, but his wife followed, picking up 2 filled bottles of household cleaner and hitting him in the back of the head with them. The man said he tried to escape to the children's room, but she followed him there as well, continuing to hit him. He told officers that she threatened to call police and tell them that he was assaulting her, which made the man decide to take the children with him to the police station so he could provide a statement about what had transpired. At the Mariel C. Newton Command Police Station, officers spoke to the man and his 2 minor children, who both confirmed their father's narrative. Police noted multiple scratches on the man's left arm and shoulder and an abrasion to the right side of his chest. Police then contacted Saint-Hilaire, who told them that she had struck her husband with her cell phone case. They did not notice any visible injuries on the woman, who became irate when she was informed that she would be arrested. Saint-Hilaire reportedly refused several orders to stand and place her hands behind her back, and after a brief struggle, officers were able to handcuff her hands to the front of her body instead. Then St. Louis reportedly dropped to the ground, remaining limp despite orders for her to stand and be taken into custody. Because of her refusal to comply, a charge of delaying and obstructing justice was added to the charge of simple assault as an act of domestic violence. In court on Monday, a judge ruled that St. Louis will be allowed to post an unsecured bond of $2,000 to satisfy her bail requirement. She is barred from leaving the St. Thomas and John district without the court's written permission and must report to the probation office every week. St. Louis is to have no unlawful contact with her husband or her children in this matter and is prohibited from using alcohol or any controlled substance, as well as possessing a firearm, ammunition, or a dangerous weapon.